From lashes for days with the viral Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara to lift and color from their brilliant eye brightener, Thrive Causemetics is the go-to for amplifying everyday looks. Plus, every product is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients that work with your skin. Amplify your everyday. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/shine26 for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/shine26.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino here on a busy Friday afternoon. Big program lined up. We do have one-day baseball game starting in about 35 minutes. Game 2, series in the Bay Area, Giants and the Yankees. We'll touch on that. More Sweet 16 games to get into. Elite 8 games tomorrow. There is a possible 7-leg tanking parlay to get involved with tonight in the NBA.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
Get in it.
Victor Wembanyama is currently dropping like a rock to win the NBA MVP. This is all happening in real time. Plus, we have Richie Baccellieri in 30 minutes, Greg Peterson coming up at 90, and Bruce Marshall all on college basketball. Tiger Woods also, not that long ago, involved in a rollover accident. Details have not really come out yet. We'll update you as I haven't seen anything yet. Have you?
I guess everyone's okay.
That's okay.
He doesn't have a driver?
How is that possible at this point after what happened to him a handful of years ago?
Yes.
Well, let's hope. Fingers are crossed that this one goes a lot better than the last time that he was involved in a major accident.
Yeah.
So there is that. Keep an eye on that. If there's any updates, obviously, that's coming up. All right, so last night, Paul, I picked Arizona to win the national title, the bracket contest here at VSiN. That was my team. I thought these ones were going to, absolutely populate the board for the Final Four as well. Florida goes down, but we still have 3 number 1 seeds alive. Was that all about Arizona last night? All about Arkansas's bad defense? Or was that a combination of both?
I would say combo of both, which we talked about all week. Defense is optional with Arkansas, the worst beating Calipari's had in the big dance, and they are just scary offensively, right? And we also commented about how they get the easy baskets and go to the free throw line.
Boy, it was happening over and over and over last night.
Could have scored 120 if they wanted to. So I'm hoping for Michigan, Arizona. I think it'd be fantastic, but this is a freight train, no doubt about it, and I feel good for Lloyd. He had to have that one. Arizona Nation took over. They were all over the place in the building. They did an excellent job, and this is a heck of a team, as we talked about and documented their resume, what they did in the non-con and that stretch. This is before the Saunders injury, where they were playing 6 out of 7 games against top 20 and top 15 competition, and they went 32-2. So it's right there for them. Talented team, and I hope they keep winning and take out Purdue. They're fun to watch.
I sent out a couple of tweets during the game. It's hard to fathom a team as talented as Arkansas getting absolutely manhandled and being completely overmatched on the court. And that's exactly what happened. Like, Arkansas they're talented to the moon, right? They had absolutely no answer for an Arizona team that was just better pretty much everywhere. And people were getting back to me on X saying, hey, man, their defense is so terrible. But I'm like, here's the thing. If you're watching the game, they're actually trying on defense. Now, there's a difference here between, are they well coached on defense? Are they actually good and efficient on defense? Do they know what they're doing? Probably not. But the effort was there last night defensively. It didn't matter. In the first half, Arizona had 36 possessions. They scored 25 times, 1.5 points per possession. They scored 69.4% of the time. Mm-hmm. They led for 19 minutes and 33 seconds. They hit 5 threes the entire game. They scored 109 points. Now, does that happen again moving forward? Maybe not, but I would not want to be Purdue on a short turnaround to prepare for this team at all.
Well, they're not invincible. I mean, Utah State was down 4 late. So, and I like
nobody's invincible.
Yeah, Utah State's a pretty good team, but certainly shouldn't be on their level. But that's right. They had that down to 4 late before Arizona made all the plays down the stretch. So Purdue has to do a better job. Purdue was fortunate to get the win, and you're right now with the short turnaround here that it should favor Arizona, and Arizona get to the Final Four.
This show is brought to you by ProfitX, and right now you can win a free trip worth up to $10,000 during March Madness with King of March. Use the code VSINMM. So I did finally make a bet on the St. John's Duke game today. All week I've been contemplating taking the 7 with the Johnnies. I didn't do that, but do you see this? They're playing games today with the total. Because it came down to like 141, then back to 142.5, and when it touched 142.5 today, I did bet the under. 2 top 5 to 10 defenses in the entire country, like 3 or 4 really like athletic and good big guys on this team. Now we are evidently going to get Foster for Duke, but what does that mean 3 weeks after surgery? Like how many minutes does he play?
It's huge. It's enormous.
Is he 70%? Is he like close to 100%? Like what over? I can't imagine he's like fully healthy though, right?
That doesn't matter. I think it's just to have the leadership, and even if you give you 10 minutes, it's a big, right? And this is also the sweet spot. Last 2 years in Sweet 16 or later, favorites of 6 points or more are 53-6 straight up. So you had a couple games that qualify tonight. It's going to come down to, can St. John's knock down shots? And is Duke going to back off and play soft and say, there it is, good luck, take it? 192 in the country from 3, 218th inside the arc. So whether it's Bells trying to knock something down, is he on that 0 for 16 run from outside? If they're knocking down shots, they're scary because of how they guard you. But 1 loss since January 3rd, shouldn't be a 5 seed. Here at Circa, they were 12-1 to win the region. I think it's a fantastic ticket. It's good. These games are going to be awesome. Those 2 games in that region, and I hope St. John's can keep it competitive and be right there. But this is tough to gauge. What does he give you? You're right, but also the issues Duke has had since the injury. Now you get the center back earlier in the tournament, which was big, but you saw what happened against Florida State. Went through the motions against Clemson, even though they covered, and then Sienna's got you down with 5 minutes left, and then that bizarre game against TCU when they were getting beaten and ran them out, and they were awesome in the last 13 minutes of the game. But I want to favor Pitino in this matchup. It's a very good team, and certainly how well they're playing and what they did to destroy UConn a couple times. And I think they can hang here. But as you said on Monday, it just seems like a fishy line. That if Richie Baccellieri, who's on in 20 minutes, says it's 3.5, why is it 7?
I know. So I will point this out. Alan Boston, who I love listening to him more than anybody else on the sport. We've known him for a long time. He's been a career-long college basketball handicapper. I listened to his podcast this week. He made this number 5.5. But he did point out, and this is one of my biggest concerns as well, like how friendly will Wilson be towards Duke? Right?
I don't think it happens.
Okay,
I
hope
think
you're
Pitino's got enough cachet and to be one of the greatest coaches ever and awesome at working the officials. I don't think you'll see a crazy whistle.
And here's what I think, based on also how much respect I have for Pitino overall as a head coach. They've had all this time now to prepare for Duke. I expect this team to come out after the opening tip and try to set the tone, much like they did against UConn in the Big East title game. And after that was over with Monday on the show here on the network, I'm like, they came out and made it a football game from the start, and we're like, come on, guys, let's go. We're gonna make this bloody. Can you match us? And UConn didn't, and St. John's blew them out. Now, I don't know if they can blow them out or not, but they have men on this team and guys who are big athletes on the court who are also good at what they do, and I think the message from Pitino is going to be similar to that. They're also top 40 in 2-point % defense allowed, and they're top 20 near the goal. Couple of things from the Kansas game. So I don't know how much we take away from the first 2 from either one of these teams, right? Because you could point to the Duke struggles the entire time. What does that mean for tonight? It might be big, but they're getting Foster back.
Well, you certainly back off Bells until he hits something.
I would agree. Now, what would we be saying about St. John's, and what would the number be if they didn't blow the 14-point lead against Kansas? Does this number open up 6.5?
Yeah.
Does it move to 7 right away? Like if they sustain that lead and they eventually beat a decent Kansas team by like 14, 15 points, it might not be that high. But also on the flip side, what if Hopkins doesn't make 6 threes in that game? Because the rest of the team combined, I think they were 5 of 24. Mm-hmm. Do they lose? Do they blow the lead completely and they're out of the tournament? And I was reading up on this today as well. Another reason why I finally bet the under on it. It's going to be a half-court game pretty much the entire time, and the Johnnies are going to probably try to get out and run a little bit. Duke will not allow that. Duke limited Virginia, Clemson, North Carolina, Michigan, and others to like either their second or their least amount of possessions in the entire year. And that's where I think it turns into half-court, slower, even though the Johnnies will probably want to get it going with their full-court press and speed Duke up. I don't think Duke is going to fall for it. I think they're too disciplined to make that happen, especially if we get a somewhat healthy Foster back tonight.
30 points each team, each half, plus money?
Well, I don't want to bet that because I bet the under. So I'm hoping this game is played
like
in the 50s.
Yep. Each team to score 65 points, $1.50. Each team to get 70, plus 155. St. John's to go on a 10-0 run, plus 240. Duke is plus 115. Hey, anything's possible after what we watched last night.
I know.
Illinois goes on a 17-0 run, and then Nebraska's down big, or up big rather, and Iowa comes back. And what happened down the stretch? So this is a great market. And this is good stuff here about what can happen and transpire from a total standpoint, because you could have fireworks in an Alabama game too.
Oh, no question. Now, you have a bet on Sparty already, yeah?
Yeah.
You took the 2?
I'm going against a guy who's on a 15-1 run ATS in the tournament, but I just think
you also have Izzo
Michigan,
in your corner, though.
Yeah, I love Izzo, and I think Michigan State's better. And I love how they played offensively in this tournament. And as I mentioned earlier, running through their resume, good body of work this year, tough schedule, only one bad loss. If it comes down to what UConn team are you going to get. And it will be interesting, like both coaches were calling for, and especially Hurley, if you're going to have the Big East fans rooting for one another, that we get St. John's UConn for the 4th time and to go to the Final Four.
Right.
You know, that'd be great.
No, I'd say that Terrace Reed has been awesome in the tournament, had those 27 rebounds in the first game. Caravan played incredibly well against UCLA. The thing is, Michigan State's not going to get, outdone on the glass. And that should probably give them enough chances to maybe stay in this game.
Yeah.
And like most games nowadays, it'll probably come down to 3-point shooting. And if UConn's having a good day from outside, that might be enough. If not, then I think Sparty probably walks out of here with a victory. Did you do anything with the props on 25 each half, 30 each half here?
This could be a higher scoring game, don't you think?
We got, 136 or so?
Well, it's come down 6 points. It did get to 134. Then it's come back up, but opened like 140 in that range. The UConn game, rather. But it's 75 points each team in the UConn game is plus 550. I think that could happen.
We have Yankees-Giants beginning Game 2 of their series opening in about 20 minutes. We'll get to that. More on tonight's college basketball game coming up next. And I'll give you some Opta AI stats on that baseball game. They have strong opinions on both starting pitchers.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Thanks for checking in today, watching on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates from across the country. We'll get to the 2 Sweet 16 games, the other ones coming up tonight in about 3 minutes here, and also Richie Baccellieri on the program, longtime Vegas Oddsmaker, in 15 minutes, his thoughts on the games. I wanted to point this out, Pauly, because we have first pitch coming up from the Bay Area again, Giants and Yankees, in about 20 minutes. Yankees, Giants, Schlittler at Ray, and the Opta AI stats and projections this year for the baseball season are currently available at vsin.com, and they're open for the first couple of weeks. I highly recommend that you go check them out so you can get a taste of what it's like here to begin the season. They project Schlittler for 6.18K, certainly a guy that I have, many of us have circled after his debut from last year. It was so good. 5+ when they put this out at minus 127 was good. That number kept coming down because he's only supposed to go about 75, 80 pitches today.
Yep, Yarborough behind him.
Right. But as we saw yesterday with Mizorowski, he got to 10 Ks through 4 innings. Schlittler has that kind of stuff where, okay, he pitches 75 pitches, he might be able to get 6, 8, 10. So I did bet over 4.5, and I laid 10 cents after it came down. I thought that was still worth a bet. Judge against Ray in his career, 3 for 8, 6 walks, 3 home runs. And the website, again, the Opta AI stats, they think Robbie Ray strikes out a bunch of guys. They're projecting 7.5. And 7+ was available at like plus 133 not that long ago. I did not bet that one, though.
Yankees crushed lefties last year, number 1 in OPS. tied for first in home runs. See if Judge responds and bounces back. And after the Giants got humiliated to open the season, Rosario also owns Ray as well, hitting 400 against them. I'm excited for the Blue Jays. And they spent $340 million in the offseason. I know I didn't like all the money with Cease, but one thing is we're going to see a lot of big earn this year.
Oh, big. That's huge.
We love Ernie Clement. But this is, I don't know if this came up in your discussion Wednesday about most wins in March, April. But certainly, you're not going to get great odds, but the Blue Jays stick out. Because 12 of their first 15 are at home, and 4 of their first 5 series are against teams that were, had bad records or weren't that good. They do have the rematch of the World Series, but it's Rockies, it's A's, it's White Sox, it's Twins. They also swept the A's last year at home and put 39 runs on them. Big earn, went 11 of 18 in that stretch, too. So Gossman going today. This is an opportunity here for the Blue Jays to pile up a lot of wins early with these home games and what looks like an easy schedule out of the gates.
Yeah, that's one of the first teams I looked at Caesars. They had 8-1, so I didn't bet it. And Circa has not posted yet. They're going to offer only most wins in the month of April. I think they're going to offer those, they're going to do it obviously before April 1st. And I want to see what the Blue Jays are going to look like here at Circa before I get involved. Because if it's higher than 8-1, I might take it at that point. So the other 2 games tonight in the Sweet 16, Bama against Michigan. Fireworks expected here. Can't this be kind of a replay of what we had last night with Arkansas and Arizona?
Well, it should be, yes.
That's what I think.
Yes.
So
Alabama doesn't guard anybody.
No. And they have both these teams, 2 top 6 offenses. They both go very fast. Bama is 4th overall in tempo at Ken Pom. Michigan is number 22. I know the comparisons have been made for Alabama and some of the teams that are either similar or play similar styles to Michigan. And when Bama played Florida and Gonzaga, they allowed 1.24 points per possession to Gonzaga, 1.29 to the Gators, and neither team shot the ball well from 3. Florida beat them 100-77. They made 3 threes in the game. Gonzaga beat them 95-85. They shot 27% from deep. They also got killed by Arizona 675. The one big weakness here for Michigan is turnovers. Can they take care of the ball tonight, and will they take care of the ball? And Bama either takes shots at or near the rim or 3-pointers, and that's pretty much it. That's Nate Oates' system. The problem with this for them tonight is going to be Michigan is pretty much as good as it gets. They are elite at guarding the rim and rim protection. So if it's going to be a struggle for Alabama down low, I mean, I think they're going to take probably 43s in this game anyway. It comes down to, well, they hit 25 against BYU last year. They hit 19 against Texas Tech last weekend. Mm-hmm. Do they hit 19 or 20 to keep them in the game tonight?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the whole thing.
Derek wasn't concerned. Were you concerned with the first half defensively against Howard? Because if you give up 45 points and a half to Howard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's. So I love Michigan, and there's so many damn weapons. And what they did to blitz St. Louis in the second half, there's so many dudes that can score. But maybe it was just a fluke what happened in that first half against Howard. But, how nuts do you want to get? Each team to score 100's 13-1. 50 points each half is 80-1. 90 points, both teams plus 270. 40 points in each half plus 240. Each team to score 80, $1.70 at Will Hill and Caesars. But I'm picking up what you're putting down. It could be reminiscent of what we saw last night with Arizona, where it's just too easy for Michigan offensively. You can't shoot like that again if you're Alabama, and maybe like a 15-point win, something like that.
Well, what about if you play either like a Michigan team total outnumber over for them to score 100-plus points, or if you wanted to climb the ladder with the total? Because I think this game, again, could be 105 to 90 in that range, 100 to 93, whatever. So if you wanted to go above like 189.5, even if you wanted to get really nuts and go like 199.5 at a huge number to go over that, I think there's an angle. And by the way, the first half total, this game is going to be in the neighborhood of 55-50 in the first half. I think it's going to be that high scoring. It just, to me, it all comes down to, and here's what's crazy about Alabama and why they're so dangerous as a dog like this. Well, if they hit if they hit 20 plus threes in the game, they can win outright. And 4-1 in the money line might actually pop. Because when the ball's going in like that, that's tough to keep up with.
20 in a row for Michigan when they lead at the half, road neutral. That's also something to factor in and watch tonight as well. And also the edge the coach has either coach has with the time off as well and the extended prep. Because something like Izzo's been great in that spot. He's 30-7 straight up in attorney extended prep.
Did you hear earlier today, by the way, Holloway with the sweet leaf?
Yeah, what happened?
They said evidently a judge overturned it. He was allowed to travel with the team. He could go out of state. And then Alabama had to come out and say, well, he's not going to travel with us. He's not going to be on the team tonight. What
was the ruling from the judge? Illegal search or what happened?
Well,
it was ganja all over the place.
Sure.
It was...
I don't look. It's never been my.
They looked at his phone. It was all about drug transactions on his phone.
Maybe just is it possible that state laws are becoming so lenient? This has never been my scene. I don't know, but I was honestly stunned that it's actually this big of a deal because I thought it was like legal in every state now for marijuana. Everywhere that you go, there's a dispensary on every single block. It doesn't matter. Again, not my scene.
Well, should he have what do you have, pounds? What was it, guys?
I think a couple pounds or whatever.
2.5 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That might be a game changer.
Well, years ago, that would have been, you lock him up, throw away the key. Like, what is that even today? I have no idea. What does that result in?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like blow. Johnny Depp's wife tells the cop when he pulls him over, he's got yayo in the trunk.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like, what's it? All right, that's it. I'll see you. I'm going to prison for a long time.
I love the scene in True Romance.
Yeah.
When
Belky.
Gets hit with a bag of coke all over his face, and the police officer is pulling him over.
George Jung, that was a great book. He got out. I think he finally was released after all those years.
The other game is Tennessee and Iowa State, and another unknown here is Joshua Jefferson going to play in the game tonight. Mm-hmm. Game time decision the way it appears, Pauly. You like the Cyclones here, yeah?
Yeah, I do. I was very impressed with what they did against Kentucky to be down 11 and then blitz them and run them out even without their best player. I just think it's going to be difficult for Tennessee to score. And they had a great matchup against Miami of Ohio just because of the difference in size and how they could kill them on the boards. They were impressive in the Virginia win, but I think this has got to be the time. They haven't made it past the Sweet 16 since 2000, and you remember it well. It still bothers Felica. That was probably the second best team in the country with Pfizer, and they gave them a 2 seed and had to play a road game against Sparty to go to the Final Four.
Yeah, Auburn Hills.
Eustachy it impacted the point spread. He got tossed with like 5 seconds left.
I still have his back in that.
Oh, they got robbed.
They got absolutely screwed by the referees. I think they had Michigan State down by 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you go back and look at some of the losses against good teams that were not nearly as good on the offense's glass, because Tennessee's number 1 in the country, Iowa State got killed on the glass. That's definitely a concern. And if Jefferson doesn't play tonight, they're also like Iowa State. They have a lot of other dudes, and they're a really good 3-point shooting team. Mm-hmm. And they just took apart Kentucky in that second half. That was an awesome performance.
Well, I know you like Tennessee, but I think Iowa State's going to get it done, and I hope they get it done. Now, the odds here, I'll update you on what Iowa was, which I thought would be higher. But St. John's 12-1, Michigan State 8-1 to win the region. And Tennessee was 18-1. Follow the money brought to you by ProfitX. If you're not on ProfitX yet, now's the time. Sign up by April 6th. Purchase at least $25 and get free $25. Jump into the King of March contest. Use code VSINMM. Download ProfitX. Code VSINMM. Make your first purchase. Take your shot and become the King of March. Get it now. Purchase 25. Get 25. In Profit Cash. New users only.
Up next, Richie Baccellieri, longtime Vegas oddsmaker. Sweet 16, Elite 8 tomorrow as well. We'll ask him about Joshua Jefferson. What is he worth of the number in this Iowa State-Tennessee game coming up later on tonight?
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Love our visits with longtime Vegas oddsmaker Richie Baccellieri, who is a big hit every time that he's on. We get tons of reaction on email and also Twitter. And Rob Blown Smoke, good to see you again. How are you, pal?
Guys, it's always good to be here with my favorite degenerates. Don't get me wrong. You guys are degenerates. Let everybody know it.
Yeah, we're aware.
All right.
We know what the meaning now
That's
of that
why
word
I like
is.
you.
And by the way, we get this every time that you're on, specifically, and I've asked you before, but can you tell the audience exactly where you're from originally?
I grew up in the Bronx.
Yeah. Because people think they can't tell, like with your voice and your accent. They're like, is it Baltimore? Is it Philadelphia? Is it somewhere in New York?
No, Bull.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. So when we were asking you to make some projected lines in the Sweet 16 last week when you were on, and I threw a possible Duke St. John's game at you, and I said, what do you think? Is it 5? And you're like, mate, 3.5. It opened up 6.5, immediately went to 7. Your thoughts?
Well, I thought it would be about 3.5, but I forgot that the big kid, Gongba, he played, so he's worth another point or so the number. So I ended up with 4.5 on the game. I mean, 7's just insane. John's is hot. The Duke, they beat Virginia by 4. They struggled with Siena. I guess they had a little bit of a gift with the refs. You know, I watched some of that game and the TCU game.
Yeah.
A little bit of a gift. I don't know. Now they're saying the kid's coming back tonight, the Caleb, whatever, Foster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if that kind of, to me, throws off some chemistry now with the other Boozer playing. I don't know. I think he takes 7, or you pass. Only side I can have.
Will they get a friendly whistle?
No,
Or is it the respect for Patino?
It's in the pocket when they're on D, Duke. Referees put the whistle in their pocket. They don't blow nothing.
Okay. All right.
You know, great. The coaching matchups are great. And, you know, the slate tonight's unbelievable. This is what the organization, the NCAA's wanted, and they got it. I mean, look at these matchups. All these SEC schools and Big Ten schools. I mean, I much prefer to see when the dark horse is Iowa. I mean, NCAA wins.
Yeah. Overall, what do you think of Patino, his career, and where would you is he one of the best in your opinion, or are you just
Probably not. I don't think he's really a full X's and O's guy. Maybe early on, but recruiter in the name, he gets the players. I mean, Johns ain't done this well in 25 years or so. I think the other guy is much more of a get him in the huddle and call out a play. But I don't see that often anymore.
What do you think of McCollum?
Oh, he's fantastic. I remember last year when he took over for DeVries, I think, at Drake. I was like, who is this guy? He's bringing up all these
They hated it. They're like, what are you doing? We're not going to win with D2. The Drake fans were pissed.
Some north and western Missouri or something. And, man, they knocked it out of the park. And now he's knocking it out of the park again. He went toe-to-toe with the other guy from Florida, right? It was fantastic. He's a great story. He looks like he's a dynamite coach. I think they're going to give the Illini, everything they want now.
You take the points?
Take it. Was it like 4 or 5? 5?
That's 7.
7.
Illinois 7.
I'm in another world. 7? Yeah, you're right. It's 7. I made it 5.5.
Okay.
I'll take 7.
By the way, did you guys notice this last night watching the game? Mm-hmm. I mean, all of his players, seemingly like in the biggest spots of the game, they are always in the right spot. That's just the way it felt watching the game against Nebraska. God, it was awesome.
He was livid at the first TV timeout. He was like, we're not doing it right. Am I overreacting? Like, if Donovan says no to Carolina, would you call this guy? They hadn't been in the Elite Eight since 1987. He, bam, comes right in.
I give this guy a chance, or basically any coach that's hungry, that's winning programs in the lesser levels. Why not? Why not give the guys a shot? They win with little talent. They move up and they just keep winning. I mean, he's not the first. I'm sure there's a long line of guys come from, D2 or assistant coaches at mid-majors. Look, it wasn't too long ago the guy from Bama was coaching smaller schools, and he's a monster now. Give the guys a chance, get rid of the names, but there are some great coaches in this tournament. There's no doubt. I thought that the kid from Michigan, this Dusty May. Mm-hmm. I looked at his record the last 4 years. The guy's won 120 games in 4 years. Then I looked at the Arizona guy, 6 years, like 140. I mean, it's amazing programs. But I'd rather see Wright State against High Point in the Final Four. But that may never happen again.
Michigan State, UConn open 140. It's down to 134.5. Why do you like the over?
Well, I like the fact that, first off, it's definitely anytime I'm looking at an over, it feels such a square play. But Michigan State can push a little tempo. Yeah. They play a lot of overs, and they play a lot of overs when the total's 147, let alone 135. So I don't know. It's square. There's no doubt about it. I'm against probably the sharpest guys betting it under, but I can't find much to play, so every now and then I pull a little degeneracy out of my pocket, and I got to get down. So.
What's the number if it's UConn St. John's to go to the Final Four?
UConn and St. John. That's the next matchup, huh? I guess it's UConn a couple
What?
of points.
No.
Yeah.
They're going to beat Duke and be an underdog after they just kicked their ass?
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, they just played. It was like 2.5, 3 neutral, right? I mean, the ratings don't change. The team don't change just because you beat somebody. It don't change. The number's the number.
Okay.
I'm not going to get a bump from beating Duke?
A bump. You could bet it. You could bet it that way, but it's not going to get posted that way.
Is that you
No, I said Johnny's. I thought it'd be
Yeah.
pick or Johnny Small.
Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think so, but we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of basketball tonight to see if that happens.
Yeah, because I'm with Paul. Like, if they beat Duke tonight, that, I think, will have a big impact on what could potentially happen after that. But who knows?
Who's Paul?
Pauly.
Pauly.
Yeah, sorry.
I got confused for a minute.
How about the other games tonight that we have then? Alabama is it's like, are they going to hit 25 threes in the game tonight? Well, then they can win. But if they don't, they're not going to get much at the rim, I don't think, because Michigan's so good at defending the rim. And this total is 172.5, one of the highest of all time in the tourney.
Yeah, Michigan is very, very good inside the paint, and Alabama just has a hard time defending that. I looked at some of the scores against teams that play down low, and they give up 100 points a game. So I don't know. It's once again, I'm not really interested in the over, but I don't think I can ever think about an under in this matchup.
Okay.
I think I think Michigan, they struggled for about 10 or 12 minutes in the Howard game, and they've been lights out since.
Mm-hmm. Yes. How about Tennessee, Iowa State? The status of Jefferson up in the air.
Yeah, well, that makes a difference. It makes a difference tonight to me. I think one of the previous games with Iowa State, I didn't think he meant a whole lot.
Against Kentucky?
I don't know. They play St. Louis. I don't know. Yeah, against.
Yeah, they just killed Kentucky.
Yeah, Kentucky. Didn't think it meant a lot, but I think it means something here. I don't know if he's playing or not, but he's worth a point to the number.
So if I told you right now that he's not going to play, would you take Tennessee plus 4.5?
Probably. They're big. They got like 3, trees down low. I think it's going to cost them without Jefferson tonight.
What did you make the number?
2.5. 2.5 with him out.
Okay. All right.
And so I'm seeing 3.5 or 4, right?
And then tomorrow, you said you think that Iowa would be worth a play at plus 7.
Yeah, I would take 7. I think Illinois off to Houston win. Once again, I think, like Paul was saying, they got a little bump up, beating Houston like they, last night.
That was impressive.
So it's a bump up from Paul, and I don't believe in bump ups. The team's at this point. My good friend Alan Boston, don't talk to me no more. Alan, call me, please. He would feel the same way. The team don't get any better.
No.
The team's the team at this point.
He went off on Crack's podcast about buying points. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's a great topic of conversation, and I think when you talk about buying points, I think there's different ways that you buy points. Buying point on a Stone Cold 6 game that you made 6, it ain't worth the 10 cents. But Alan's point of view, and I believe in this, and our dear friend Steve Diano, who's really, really sick, Stevie, hang in there, buddy, also believes the same way. If you made a game 2, and the game's 5 or 5.5, if you buy the 6 at that point, you're doing it for a few reasons. One, you're 4 points off of your number, so 10 cents might be worth something. Okay? If the game closes 4 and you spend 10 cents from 5.5 to 6, it's not the worst thing in the world. And these games can come close to the number. I watched it all year long. There's so many games, X percentage of games in the last few minutes, within a bucket of the number.
All the time.
So I'm all for it under certain circumstances if you could spend 10 cents. Now, I see books charging 11 and 12 cents for half points. So what are they thinking? Why are they charging more if it's not worth it? And I think the only reason is if you buy the point early, the game moves 2 points. So technically you spent a half a point, 10 cents for a half a point, 2.5 points off the number.
Very good. Awesome answer. Thanks, Richie. Good luck tonight. Enjoy the games.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Richie Baccellieri. Win-lose up next. Pauly has details on a 22-1 ticket that cashed during the Illinois win.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Purdue, Texas. Both teams to score 75 points, plus 210. 35 points each half, plus 380. Iowa, here at Circa. 52-1 to win the region. One win away. 70 points each team, plus 340.
You know, Paul, that's a good point that you had before the show. And right now with this, we said on the air the other day, imagine what Nebraska was before the season, like Final Four bets. Well, how about Iowa 3 weeks ago?
They'd lost 7 of their last 10 games. Lowest seeded Big Ten team to make the Elite Eight. First Elite Eight since 1987. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting, but this guy is unbelievable.
I don't think you can overreact to it because of what he did last year, tying it into this year as well.
Well, basketball's basketball. If he won all those titles at D2,
sure.
Why not?
By the way, what a way for the Sweet 16 to get underway last night. Those games were epic, and they somehow finished at the same exact time.
Yeah, that can't happen.
No.
You space these out. You can't. And then we're sitting there, both games are over. Illinois to go on a 15-0 run. 22-1 at Will Hill Caesars. I mean, I thought Houston was fine at the half. You can't play any worse. And they cut it to 2. They come out, they tie the game, and then they just get blasted.
Now, what was that as a result of? Was it just Houston being absolutely terrible? Or do we look at Illinois and say, holy hell's bells, they were phenomenal in the game last night?
I think it was bad Houston. They couldn't make a shot.
Houston,
Illinois is a good team.
Yeah.
But to score in the 50s when it's in your backyard, come on.
My biggest problem is Houston went to the free throw line twice in the whole game.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
After what they did in the first 2 rounds, especially against A&M, Illinois, Houston under 144 to 141. Hornets, the Buzz City Killers, +1 to -2.5, routed the Knicks. Guardians, +150. Penguins, goal in the first 10, 11 in a row. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. Walking by the park, you didn't think you'd see this one, right? Got the dog on the swing, where the human is, the dog is at a lab too? A retriever? No, just back and forth.
Now that's
good setup. Got the world by the onions. That's awesome.
See, that's really cool.
That's living.
The problem is, have you ever had a dog where you could trust them to stay on it the whole time? They would panic immediately and try to jump off, and then, knowing my luck, they'd break their legs, and I would be caught on videotape, and here comes the cops.
Be okay, yeah. Lose some. Texas, Purdue under 148.5 to 145, and Purdue 6.5 up to 8.5. No good. Founded in 2011, Sharp Plays just completed another dominant run, including a 2025 campaign that saw bankrolls double. The Mr. Poison tweets daily. He's stinking it up. Got to follow Sharp Plays to fade him. 15 straight years of winners, all documented. Records and logs posted publicly, sharpplays.com. When they move, the books take notice. Advanced AI tools, trusted insider intelligence, respected, watched, and feared. Start winning with them. Give them a follow. Check them out, sharpplays.com.
Okay, so we do have a game. This is intriguing to me. Starting at the top of the hour. And it's in women's college basketball as the best team in the country, undefeated UConn, is taking on 4th-seeded North Carolina. Currently, UConn is a 29.5-point favorite. In the Sweet 16, there's not even a money line available on this game. I'm looking right now at DraftKings. No money line has been posted. Total is 135.5. In the first half, they are laying 16.5. The first half alone, North Carolina's 18-1 to win the first half. 18-1. Also, some books are offering the race to 10, 15, and 20 points. North Carolina is plus 470 first to 10. Could this be like a men's game where you catch it right with the big dog and they can actually do okay in the first 3 minutes against UConn, but then they get blown out by 50?
I would doubt it.
Yeah, so what?
This is. Just ridiculous. Just a freight train after what they did to Syracuse. I mean, come on.
So I heard John Murray talking about this in his
Whatever.
podcast at the
What was
Westgate.
that? 68 to 12?
It was it was a 55-point lead at halftime, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, come on.
And they were laying still 22 and a half in the second half, whatever. Murray said he was talking to his guys in the back at the Westgate about this team and what the possible point spreads are going to be like. Again, they're undefeated. UCLA is awesome on the women's side. I think they have 1 or 2 losses, but they're the second best team in the country. And they're kicking around if they meet in the tournament, what the point spread would be. And they're just like, it's going to have to be double digits. I mean, when Duke played UConn in 1999, UConn was a 1 seed and they were phenomenal. But Duke's power rating was so high. What were they in that game? 9? They were 9 against UConn and they lost the game outright. That's also a quarter of a century ago. So these teams at the top of college basketball, like 1, 2, 3, 4, they're always at least pretty close to each other, or at least a couple points. You could have the best team today taking on the second best team, and they're laying 10, 11, 12 points. That is absurd. I think it would be kind of fun to have a bet on this game, but
yeah, you'll find out right away if it's just going to be another abomination, and this thing's over 2 minutes in, right? And they can name their score. That might be every game.
You want to lay 8.5 points in the first quarter?
It's
a 10-minute quarter.
Yeah, that is impressive. What this power rating is.
Golly.
Yep. UCLA is good. You know, maybe you don't like the comments of the coach, but exhausted, and that could be it. But if that's the matchup in the final, that's too bad. That's not good for the sport.
No, it is not.
No.
In baseball right now, Giants-Yankees, it is scoreless, top of the second. Robbie Ray against Schlittler for the Yankees. 2 outs here. I did notice that Schlittler did strike out 2. They had to go to the ABS in right away because the umpire called like a 99-mile-an-hour heater on the outside part of the plate, a ball, and it took 2 seconds, and they came back and were like, no, it's a strike. So that was strikeout number 2 for Schlittler, off to a good start.
Catchers went 10 of 14, batters 9 of 16 with the ABS in the first day. Something to track moving forward.
Right.
So we're getting a Tiger Woods update here, supposedly soon. It's, I don't know, something stinks, doesn't add up. 30-mile-per-hour zone where he was driving, rollover?
In a neighborhood that he lives in, and there are trees on both sides?
Yeah.
Okay, how fast do you have to go to actually roll your car over? Is there a scenario where, there's a deer running across the road. 30 miles an hour, that's going to flip it over on you?
What the hell happened? He's in the neighborhood, trees everywhere, 30 miles per hour, and there's a rollover, a 2-car crash. I don't know.
Does he live in Reacher's neighborhood?
And he was, right. You're not paying attention, doing something on the phone? I don't know. At least I can explain the last one. With the Palisades or wherever it was, were coming around a turn, and he was hauling ass, whatever.
Right, going way too fast.
Right. That was, he was in serious trouble then.
I mean, you're right. 30 miles an hour, that seems very difficult, like you're going to flip an entire car. Okay. Your best bet tonight in the Sweet 16 would be what?
I'm riding with Sparty. I'm with Richie, too, on the over. I think he's right. They average 80 a game.
I know.
It's come down big in the total in this game. I'm with them. And UConn can score as well.
Yes, they can, Paul.
And what Caravan did and Reed shooting 62% so far and what he did against Furman, I just think this could be a higher scoring game, and I'm going to trust Michigan State here and Izzo. As I mentioned earlier, Izzo, time to prep in the tournament, 30-7 straight up. Now you're going against the genius, the pain in the ass. 15-1 ATS running the tournament himself. He's been great. But it's just inconsistent play from these guys all year. You know, the Marquette loss, which was big, bounced, buried twice by St. John's. Not impressive against Furman. And UCLA was right there, too. And I give them credit. They ran them out in the last 10 minutes. They were great. But that was a good performance. But still, I think Michigan State gets them, and I think they open the favorite for a reason. I don't agree with the moves in this game.
We're kind of on the same page with that one. If you like St. John's in the points, I think you need to take a little stab on the money line as well. I'm not telling you to go hog wild, but if you think this is going to be a close game.
Well, I like what you said earlier. I think it's correlated. I think if St. John's wins, it's a low-scoring rock fight.
Yep. And I think they can win a game like 62-58, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be blown away.
Boy, an eagle. Stealing money tonight. Gun in a ski mask. Oh, these two games in that venue and how raucous that environment's going to be, the ticket prices, and not to mention St. John's, UConn, or Duke, Michigan State to go to the Final Four on Sunday. Whoever comes out of this tonight, that's great.
Yeah, any way it breaks is going to be phenomenal on Sunday. However, if it is UConn and St. John's in D.C. for right to go to the Final Four, my God.
Well, the other thing is, can the Big Ten just dominate this tournament? You already have a team in the Final Four. We already know that. You still got Michigan. You might have everybody here. They're going
to end up flying over 16 wins for that conference, which was the prop.
This could be like, was it 85 when the Big East had 3 of the 4 Final Four?
I think, was it 89 when it was Michigan, Illinois?
Is that Seton Hall?
Seton Hall, and was there another Big Ten team in there?
Did they have 3 of the 4 in 89?
I thought they had 3 of 4 in 89. We can double check that. NBA coming up next. The tanking parlay won the other night, and now 7 different games actually showcase teams in the toilet. We'll discuss if it's worth a bet tonight.